This is the Kaivel V20 vacuum. I got it off Amazon about a year ago and I can no longer get replacement parts for it. It was a fine vacuum while it worked. Relatively inexpensive to buy upfront, decent suction, quiet, more or less what I was looking for in a vacuum, but there was one big problem. This vacuum comes with little tiny filters that are about 3 inches across and they clog up like mad. Because this thing's filter is so small, in order to keep it running, I would constantly have to open it up, clean out the filter, wash it, let it dry, and then put it all back together, depending on how often I used it. It is easy enough to get apart and get at that little tiny filter, but no matter how much I washed it and cleaned it and scraped at the dirt in this thing, eventually the filter became so clogged up with mud that I had to replace it. And the package did come with a second little tiny filter. You can see it here. It's still in relatively good condition, but I was at the point where this filter is starting to get clogged too and the vacuum is losing suction power. Kaivel as a brand has all but disappeared from Amazon, only having a handful of products left, so I reached out to them directly through their website to try and find the filters for this thing, and their response was, "We do not sell these filters anymore. Wash and clean the one you got, cause that's it." Helpful, right? The main problem is that no matter how thoroughly this little tiny filter is washed, it is made out of a papery type material, so it does start to degrade with time. Adding to that, water plus dirt equals mud, and these little tiny ridges just get caked with grime that does not come out. And that just leaves me without a replacement filter. I've looked high and low for these things. I've measured it out. I looked on AliExpress, I looked on Amazon, I looked for identical vacuums. I scrolled through pretty much every filter I could find, and there's nothing that matches this thickness and this size, because they used a non-standard filter. The long and short of it is, I'm going to buy a couple filters off of AliExpress that are a few millimeters here and there off and see if they'll fit, but who knows? I'm left with a vacuum that very soon I will not be able to use. I washed this filter out now, and it's starting to degrade right around the edges. It's sort of starting to tear apart. Once this one's done, that's it. I have no replacements. Moral of the story is, regardless of good reviews, avoid these sort of no-name electronics, especially when there's consumables involved. Because there's no guarantee that in a year or two the company will even exist, and consumables such as spare batteries, filters, ink, those things might not be around for you to purchase, and your electronics might be worthless.